a future that you do not picture, you will never capture. You understand? That is very important. So for me, I begin to picture big stuff. And when I begin to picture them, I begin to work towards them. I am saying things that even people that I consider to be my people are against it. When we talk of the 21st century African, we're talking about the mentality.
Sure.
We are where we are today because of the wrong mentality that our elders had. We are where we are. See, Africa is not underdeveloped. Africa is mismanaged. And that goes back to the thinking of the people.
Yeah.
Congo is the richest place on planet Earth. You understand? But
Mr. Fazan, thank you very much for coming to the channel. I think this was supposed to happen initially as a live stream, but it was interrupted, but now we're here finally. So you're obviously, for those that do not know, one of the people I regard as a mentor, and speaking of that, you've written multiple books, but I want to go as far back as the first piece that you gave me, which was The Formula for Success. So you relate the story as far back as your childhood, and thinking of it now, when you think all the way back there, what would you say are some of the things that shaped you into becoming the man you are today from that?
Okay, thank you very much, Kalupe, for having me, and I take this as a great opportunity to not just talk to you, but talk to your friends also.
Sure.
So, for those of you that don't know, the book that he's talking about, that was my second book. I wrote it in 2018. It was tied to the Formula for Success. So in the Formula for Success, I spoke about desire plus determination equals to destiny. And what inspired me to write that book was my journey. It's not that I wrote about my journey in there, but I actually just, my journey shaped my idea or my ideology of looking at life. And in a nutshell, what I can tell you is that I came to understand that the idea of believing that you can become anything that you want to become is the greatest idea that any human being can imbibe. So when I capture that idea that it is possible, I can become anything I want to become in this life. It doesn't matter where I'm coming from. It doesn't matter the things that life put me through. It doesn't matter my childhood and all of those stuff. Then that gives birth to this rugged, dogged determination that I have. And going back to your question, now I have come to understand that I can actually become anything.
Sure.
And when I understood that, there was no stopping for me, and that was when I went ahead to do to dream bigger. I have done things that an ordinary young person of that age, of your age at that time, I was, will think that these are ridiculous stuff. But now it all stems, and I want all of the people who view your stuff to understand this, especially the young people. It all begins with desire.
Yeah.
If you are not having a desire to become anything, you can never even get there. For example, the camera is capturing us now because it's focused on us.
Right.
So if a future that you do not picture, you will never capture. You understand? That is very important. So for me, I begin to picture big stuff. And when I begin to picture them, I begin to work towards them.
Yeah.
So with all of those stuff, they have shaped me to be the person that I am today and the person that I'm going to be tomorrow. Because in that book, I spoke about dogged determination.
Sure.
Dogged determination, which gives me the idea of it doesn't matter how hard life becomes with me. There is just one way that is made for me. and that is forward.
Sure.
You understand?
Yeah.
So there is no any other way. I do not have plan B. My plan A is just certain. It's one. So it doesn't matter if tomorrow I wake up and life become too tough. If I wake up tomorrow and all the dreams that I have in my head, there is nothing falling into place and all of that. Trust me, I'm not gonna quit, because in that book I said desire plus determination. And I actually said dogged determination. Dogged determination means if I do not make it, I'd rather die.
That's very daring. So speaking of you saying you could become anything, it reminds me of something that I personally also struggled with.
Yeah.
Perhaps to this they still struggle. Obviously coming from a country that, you know, your country of origin, and having to move to another land.
Yeah.
How do you find common ground very quickly in an environment that is not, well, necessarily yours?
Yeah, I never found common ground quickly. But for me, I have this mentality that every place in Africa is mine.
Sure.
That is just because if you hear my message, one of my strong message is about Africanism, or I'm a pro-African. I'm a pro-African, and there is a movement I started that is called the 21st Century African. We even have a pledge. If you watch most of my videos, you will see me talking so much enthusiasm about the African thing. So for me, everywhere on African continent, I consider it as my place. But having said that, even in your place of birth, if you move from one house to another, that house is a little bit strange to you. Yeah. You understand? Yeah. But then another thing, let's go back to my ideology of believing that it is possible I can do anything. And I remember when I came to South Africa, that was in 2012. I came to South Africa. It has been a long time now. And I have this ideology that I can actually, there is no difference between me and the people here. And my dreams of whatever I want to become, I can achieve it. And let me shock your psychology. South Africa got democracy, at least. Yeah. In Africa, they have a bit of democracy as to compare to other African countries.
Right.
It's easier to make it in South Africa than to make it in West Africa,
yes,
than it is to make it in East Africa, than it is to make it in North Africa. You understand what I mean? So finding your common ground, and if you look at it, it's all about how daring are you. You understand? Yeah. The thing is, like, and I was telling you something the other day, I don't know, I forgot the day, but I was telling you that the steps that you are scared to take, if you take those steps, people will thank you for being so daring.
Yeah.
I remember I went to Pretoria to meet with, I don't want to call his name, but high profile man.
Okay.
Yeah, so when I went there to meet with him, the receptionist told me, the secretary told me, you do not have an appointment. I said, yeah, I get it, I do not, but I have to see him. And they called security for me because I was refusing to go.
Okay. And
luckily he was not walking downstairs, and now said, this young man is here to see you, and and I got to see him. In fact, he wrote a foreword in one of my books. You understand? Yeah. That man could leave Pretoria to just come see me in Johannesburg. What am I trying to tell you? Be daring enough to be scared yourself. You understand?
Yeah.
And that is how winning is done, and that is how becoming anything big, that is how it is done. If we're not daring enough to take a step. There are 1,100 good reasons to fail in life. And what you said here is one of them. It is not my place. I can't do certain things.
Sure.
You understand?
Sure.
It's one of the reasons. And
Yeah.
if you reason that with somebody, they're gonna understand with you. But here is something about failure. People don't care to know why you fail.
Yeah.
But we all care to know how you succeeded.
Sure. That is true. That
Yeah.
is true.
So instead of you giving an excuse of daring to achieve all your dreams, why can't you just take a step? You see, the thing is this. If I walk up to Kit right now and ask him for something, there are two things involved. It's either he will say yes or no.
Kit always says yes.
So it's either we say yes or no.
Right.
But whichever way, that is not going to reduce anything on me.
True.
You understand?
Yeah.
So, like, we're still talking, but then before I forget, like, your friends, I want them to read one of my book called Results or Excuses. It's a book that I spoke about, like, literally what you're talking about here. So if failure demand excuses, results, there is no room for excuses. You see, if somebody ever told you, I can't fail, I don't know how it's going to be, but for me, I can't fail.
Yeah, that's so true. And I was actually going to put that point forward as the next, because speaking of the different places of origin and all, one of your most major elements in your work moving forward has always been gathering and uniting the African people, particularly the younger generation.
Yes.
The urge to just bring them together. Speak to me about that, because I think there's really a need for that, but you know how you come on about it is very differently.
Yeah, so the 21st Century African Movement, we have like our pledge that we pledge, like if you join the movement, you pledge, like just lift, can you do it with me? Just lift your fist like this. I am.
I am.
A 21st Century African.
21st Century African.
And I know better.
And I know better.
I am.
I am.
A 21st Century African.
A 21st Century African.
Nobody
will
use religion to turn me against my brother or sister. I am. A 21st Century African.
A 21st Century African.
Nobody will use
the
borders created by the West.
To have me. Hate
my brother or sister. I am a 21st Century African. So there's a lot that we say, like if we get the form lists all of that. So that place is to, first of all, see, there is nothing more hard than trying to convince a colonized mind.
Yeah.
So a mind that is already colonized is none of my business, because there is nothing I can do for you.
Yeah.
But the younger generation, and the reason why I'm so focused on the younger generation is because they understand. I remember I went to Tembisa, and it was from 14 years. The oldest person there was 21 years. And these young people, when I finished, I spoke to them 2 hours straight. Wow. And imagine these are young people that their attention is so small.
Yeah.
But the things that I was telling these young people, they've never heard it nowhere. And when I finished and we started doing this pledge, I will send you that video one day. These young people, the way they were saying that pledge, it was with passion. You could see some of them literally with tears in their eyes, because like I was telling them something that they do not know. So the journey has been a very challenging one, because I face challenges on so many fronts, like challenges from, and I tell you this, you know, when you are fighting and you know that you are fighting your enemy, it is okay, that is my enemy, isn't it?
Yeah.
But now, when the people that you think you are fighting for them turn against you, it becomes another ball game.
Yeah.
It becomes harder. So to make it worse, the people that you consider your people, when they turn against you, it goes to a level of even when family now turn against you, I'm telling you the hardship in trying to this journey of the 21st century Africanism that I'm preaching. It gets harder and harder and harder every day, because I am saying things that even people that I consider to be my people are against it.
Right.
Sometimes somebody looks like you, talk like you, but the person is not for you.
True. So when you look at that, and as you particularly said, going as far as even your family, the people you consider family, turning against you, looking at the current state of ourselves right now, and I'm particularly referring to the younger generation. Is there possible hope to get to that point where you're trying to get to?
Yes. You see, one thing we hope is that it gives you the energy to keep fighting.
Yeah.
Immediately hope is gone,
yeah,
there will be no more fight.
Sure.
You understand? So I must believe that one day there will be 21st century Africans that their thinking will be more deeper than what we have today.
Sure.
I got to believe that the message that I'm preaching, at least one or two person I get in it.
Yeah.
I got to believe that in as much as the number of oppositions that I have, there are still people that are for me.
So for that, do we as the younger people, do we perhaps have to abandon certain things? Do we have to apply using certain things or develop certain traits?
No. When we talk of the 21st century African, we're talking about the mentality.
Sure.
We are where we are today because of the wrong mentality that our elders had.
Right.
We are where we are. See, Africa is not underdeveloped. Africa is mismanaged. And that goes back to the thinking of the people.
Yeah. So it's not underdeveloped, but mismanaged.
It's mismanaged.
Okay. I argued for years it's underdeveloped, but again.
See, if I give you something and you cannot manage it, the potential of that will never be manifested. So people will always look at that as underdeveloped.
Sure.
I give an example of Congo.
Yeah.
Congo is the richest place on planet Earth.
True.
You understand?
Yeah.
But okay. But you look at what is going on in Congo. It is really not okay, and it is really being actually mismanaged to a point that everything that you see has become so disorganized.
Yeah.
And people can look at that place and say it is underdeveloped. How can a place that is so rich like Congo
painful too.
be?
It's really actually very painful.
You understand?
Yeah.
So the whole struggle of my message is to change the mentality of young people.
And you firmly believe we're going to get there?
I believe
possibly.
that we are going to get there. It is going to be one step at a time. It might not even be in my time. You understand?
Yeah.
It might not be in my lifetime.
Yeah.
But I want young people like you to wake up one day and say the ideology of King Fazan actually got manifested.
Sure.
And we are living it today.
Sure. So quickly, perhaps just passing by.
Yeah.
The 40 Voters Commandments,
Yeah.
which is your current piece, your current book that's out there.
Yeah.
And again, that's particularly directed to the younger generation.
Exactly.
And, you're speaking to us on the importance of, I believe, voting and being involved in politics.
Yeah.
We don't often understand what it means to be, or we don't often understand politics as a concept. So perhaps we just touch on that as possible.
So when I wrote the 40 Voters Commandment, I think the 40 Voters Commandment is my fourth book that I wrote. When I wrote the 40 Voters Commandment, that was a burning desire in my heart to get young people participate in politics. Now, here is the thing. If you allow people who are less educated than you to govern over you, they will mislead you and they will reduce you to their level and they will make you and your community look stupid.
Sure.
So now, And the most frustrating part of it, when I approach young people and I speak to them and they said, no, I don't want to be involved in politics.
Yeah.
And now here is the thing. Whether you want to be involved in politics or not, politics will be involved with your life. It's either you are affected directly or indirectly. What your community will become in the next 5 years is dependent on the person that is leading you. You understand? And like I said, I do not have challenges with the older generation. They have a colonized mind. And the colonized mind that they have, it is so hard for you to change it.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, I never had problem with them. And if we ever read the book, I am talking to the younger generation, and I continue to tell them that these people who are destroying your future, they are not even part of it. They're gonna be dead and gone. But you gonna sit here, you are on internet, you are whatever. The other young lady told me that now they have freedom. I say, freedom of what? Freedom to buy wigs or what? What exactly is your freedom? Because right now, if all that you think about is to be on social media and not to think of what is going to happen in the next few years with your generation, then what is happening is that you are already in slavery with your mentality.
True.
You see?
Yeah.
So when I approach them and I start to be corrected, what is it? The IEC, the Independent Electoral Commission of South Africa, and they were like, "Yeah, there's a great book. We're gonna you were there by Vet University with me, and they said, no, we're gonna make it like go viral."
Yeah.
And we will have varsity students read the book. I was like, perfect. That is my idea with this whole thing. You understand?
Yeah.
I met with the University of Pretoria, the SRC, and I was to meet with all of the SRC. And it was supposed to be on the 24th of April.
Yeah, the book launch.
The book launch.
Yeah.
Like, no, I launched the book on the 24th of March. Then 24th of February.
24th of February.
Yes. So the distribution of this book to all of the young people on universities in South Africa was to start on the 24th of April. We're going to start with the Vet University. Right. The SRC was so excited and everything was going on well. 2 days to the event, the IEC sent me a letter and they said, we're sorry, we cannot work with you. I was like, oh.
And that was disappointing because I remember when we were there, it was, well, there were people, but not as many as we expected people.
Yeah.
And that shows, it's heartbreaking because they just then had to let go last minute.
It is heartbreaking, but like I told you about the book that you read, The Formula for Success. The determination of succeeding in life, the first thing that you should have in mind is that I don't even need your encouragement.
Sure.
Do you understand what that means?
Yeah.
If I don't need your encouragement, your discouragement means nothing to me.
Yeah. And I guess hence we just carried on with the event.
Exactly.
Anyways. Sure.
So I just carried on, and when I got a message from the Americans concerning the election, November, and they were like, "Can you write in the context of America?" I was excited but disappointed at the same time. This work is for my people.
Yeah. No, but that is huge, by the way, because just to give context, so you actually potentially are to go there.
Yeah.
For the 40 Voters Commandments on the American
version.
No,
but here's the thing. The 40 Voters Commandment was strictly for my African people.
Yeah.
Because we are where we are today because we do not have leaders.
Yeah.
And the only way we can fix that is to stand up and get involved into politics. You understand? Sure. And that was the message. So how come on my continent, everybody on my continent, the people that read that book, nobody is that excited about the book. It's somebody from the outside
that's excited.
They're excited about the book.
Yeah.
And here's the frustration. But we're not going to stop. We're going to keep fighting. The frustration is that, like what I told you, it is okay. My enemy is fighting me. I know that this is my enemy. But when the people that I am fighting for turn against me, then that is frustration on another level.
Yeah. Oof. I think that little story alone explains the depth of the book. You know, very important. And I know we're going to carry on with this conversation off the camera, but we just have to be very fragile of time right now.
Yes.
So I'm going to quickly do this thing that we do on the channel.
Okay.
It's I think about 3 or 4 questions that I'm going to ask you, and I just want one-line answers.
Oh, okay.
Question number 1.
Yeah.
If you had to define your purpose in life currently, what would it be?
Deliver Africa.
Deliver Africa. That's huge. And that's pressure. Question number 2, what is the best advice Mr. Fazan has ever gotten? If you had to pick one advice that stood out the most, which one was the best?
My grandmother.
Okay, and what did she say?
She told me that some people make news.
Yeah.
Some people watch news. Some people don't even know what is happening.
That's deep. Cat felt that one too, actually. So, okay, on that note, what would then be the worst advice you've ever received from anybody?
Worst advice received from anybody? That wasn't an advice. It was subjective. Like, you are a nobody.
You are a nobody, they said. Okay, well, that had to be the worst. And then last but not least, if Mr. Fazan had the chance to be given the opportunity to pass on a law or a rule that the rest of the world would have to follow, what would it be?
Love one another.
Love one another.
That's all.
Yeah, I think I'd go for the same thing actually. Hey?
Love one another.
But thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for showing up to the channel.
Thank you,
I know this has been so disturbed many times. You actually understand that we took days just to get this to happen.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you coming here. We've been graced by your presence. I know this is the first of many, but thank you so much. And you know, I'm wishing you the best in all the other things. I know we're going to be around each other much more.
Yeah.
And I hope to stick around for many more years as well. So thank you so much for coming, sir.
No problem. Thank you so much. Just be consistent.
Right. Thank you, sir.
Ciao, ciao.
Cool.
If you allow people who are less educated than you